Yeah, that whole semen tough thing. That's a very strong programming that I received as well. I was the same thing as you, Zach. Like I think I stopped crying around like 14, 15 years old. And then the only times I would is when I got really drunk on liquor. It would just all come out. But then if I wasn't drinking, then it would just bottle it down deep inside. And I honestly got to the point that I felt robotic. I had pushed down so many emotions that I didn't see myself as an emotional person at all. And my friends honestly used to joke about me being a robot because nothing really upset me. Nothing really made me sad. Nothing really made me mad. I just was like deadpan all the time. And when I first started watching Star Trek in my early 20s, I identified with Data, which is the android. I was like, yeah, he just knows everything. He's all about the logic. He doesn't have emotions. He just says what is right, says what is real. And I felt like a connection to him because I just felt like that's the way to be. And even on the old Star Trek, they had the Vulcans, and the Vulcans aren't emotional. They're all about just logic. And that's all I cared about was logic and rationality. And that because that was my way of coping with the difficult emotions that I experienced when I was younger. So by just saying logically, there's no point of crying, there's no point of getting sad. Might as well just let it go. And then I would just basically put a block between me and it. I wouldn't let it go for real. I would just put a barrier between that, whatever hurt me in my mind, and that, and just put like some idea on it to say that it's not worth my time. There's no point in thinking about it or worrying about it. And then that's what would allow me to move on from it. But see, the thing is, when we do that type of thing, when we put those blocks up, there's still energy vibrating on the other side, and it's agitating, and you never really truly are able to relax because there's always this energy burrowing under the surface that is constantly vibrating. And in order to like really get to that point where you can move through it, you got to break down that wall and let it wash over you and cry and yell and scream and laugh or whatever it is that needs to be done. Move your body, like anything. There's a number of different things you could do to let the energy move through you. And as you do, then you just become this empty vessel, like that body of light again. And then the next time something happens, the energy comes in, the frequency moves through you. If it's sad, you cry, you let it go. If it makes you mad, you yell, you let it go. And then it's just this constant work of living in reality to allow things to come into you, be open and receptive, but then also accept them, see them for what they are, understand them, and then let them move through you. But if you have these blocks and barriers and this outer shell that pushes all that away or tries to put it in some sort of box of logic and rationality, then we never really truly get to fully understand it. We understand it logically, we understand it intellectually, but we don't understand it on a heart level. We don't understand what it feels like. We don't understand what it does to us. We just think, oh, that's an emotion, and that emotion means this, and you describe it with words. But there's a big difference between describing an emotion with words and actually truly feeling it. And when we try to resist all of our emotions, the crying and the anger or whatever, we only understand it on an intellectual level. We become, reductionists in the way we think. And then, you end up being a psychologist because you think you can explain all these concepts, but you don't let yourself feel them. I'm not saying all psychologists are like that, but you know what I mean? Like typically people that become psychologists are the people that had all these issues when they were young, and then they wanted to understand them logically and rationally. So then they studied psychology, and that allowed them to understand the brain through the brain, but they don't understand the brain through the heart, which I think is a necessary component in order for it to really heal. The psychologists of the future will be ones that actually connect with you on a loving level and not just on a mind level. Because you can explain disorders to your patient till the cows come home, but if you don't understand it on a loving level, on a heart level, then you aren't going to provide them the space to really open up and heal.